What's up? This is Thomas, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to be authentic on camera, and also touching on why finding that true authenticity can actually be completely impossible, and a more realistic way to find authenticity in every single video that you make. So the first thing you're going to want to do is grow a mustache. A mustache really gives you an air of authenticity and authority, and it instantly just makes your audience like, trust, and respect you. The second thing that you're going to want to do after growing a mustache is realize that authenticity in itself is something that is flowing and changing. So there are many versions of yourself that might be authentic. There's an authentic, joyous version of yourself. There's an authentic, serious version of yourself. There's an authentic, sad version of yourself. There's also an authentic version of yourself when you're around your family and how you might behave around them. There's an authentic version of yourself around your friends or professionally and how you might behave in that scenario. But in all of these scenarios, you're going to find that there's no one version of yourself that is truly authentic that you can just present at all times. This is something that I was looking for when I started talking to camera. I thought that there would be if I peeled back enough layers, there would be some kind of core version of myself that I thought would just be me, and I could just always be that person, no matter who I was around or no matter to which audience I was addressing when talking to camera. However, what I found is that when experimenting with trying to express different sides of myself, that this was impossible. I started to think, okay, naturally when I talk to camera, I'm a bit too much like a presenter. So maybe I'm gonna kind of watch how I behave around my family and try and be like that on camera. Because surely who I am around my family is the most authentic version of myself, right? But actually, around my family, I was slightly unenthusiastic, maybe slightly chilled out, but to the extent that I'm literally not even pronouncing my words properly, and maybe just a bit lethargic for whatever reason. And that's probably something to do with me still acting a little bit like a little boy around my parents and somehow just kind of being a bit lazy or whatever. So I'm like, that's not a good way of being on camera, right? That's not a good way to present myself professionally. Okay. What about my friends? Okay, around my friends, I can be kind of funny, goofy. I could maybe swear. So maybe I should just be like that. Maybe who I am is just swearing and like just kind of giving less of a fuck, if that makes sense. Okay, but then if I start being like that in my videos, maybe it's going to alienate people. Maybe I have a wider demographic, so maybe I'm going to be cutting off a lot of those people and only kind of addressing or being more appealing to men my age rather than having a wider, broader appeal. Doesn't really work, and it doesn't feel authentic as well. Like I wouldn't talk to, let's say I just met a middle-aged woman, a nice lady, and I wouldn't just talk to her like I would talk to my friends out of respect, right? So in some ways, just putting myself across like that all the time on YouTube also felt somehow inauthentic. So start to realize that there's no one version of yourself. And the sooner you accept that, the better. You cannot be searching for this one true person to be like that all the time, because it's not going to happen. So you have to recognize that when you're talking to a camera, you're also talking to an audience. You're talking to your demographic. If you don't have an audience, you don't have a demographic yet, think about who you want your audience to be and talk to those people. And it's fine if it's a group of young people your age and you want to talk and be really carefree and whatever, be like that 100%. For my channel specifically, it's a slightly broader audience, so I wanted to stay connected with myself, stay authentic, but also, to a degree, have a certain level of professionality as well, especially seeing as that I'm teaching things. So that brings the question of, if we can't be fully authentic the whole time, if we cannot just be one person 100% of the time, how can we ever be authentic? Are we just changing in the wind depending on who we're talking to? Doesn't that feel very chameleonic and inauthentic? The thing I've found that helps me feel authentic is precisely that, the word feel. So it's connecting to the current state I'm in, connecting to my emotions. And as long as I'm staying connected to that while speaking, and I'm not betraying that for anyone else, then I can still consider that delivery an authentic delivery. If you start betraying how you feel because you want to be perceived in a certain way, whether that's in an elevated state or whether that's being too positive or too negative or too chilled out or too anything, then your audience will start to pick up that you're being inauthentic. So it's really best to connect with how you are feeling, which for me is kind of an intangible thing, right? What does that mean, connect to your emotions? For me, literally that feels like connecting to somewhere in my chest or my stomach and kind of maintaining awareness on some kind of emotional level there whilst I speak. And it almost feels like I'm talking from that place, and that somehow feels more authentic to me. I'll notice that I will not feel authentic when I'm talking to camera when I'm a bit skittery, a bit scattered, maybe talking from a place that doesn't feel grounded and not really connecting with myself. And that might be because in that moment I'm trying to perform, or I'm literally betraying how I feel to try and please other people. And I'll stop, realize that I'm doing that, and try and reconnect with myself again. So that is the main way that we can find authenticity whilst talking to camera. It's not trying to find this one person who we're going to be the whole time. It's recognizing that you're going to be talking about different topics to different audiences. You're not going to be like you are around your family, around your friends. You're going to be like you are whilst talking to that audience that you're talking to when you're delivering on camera. And that might be similar to your friends, might be similar to your family, but it could also be extremely professional. Depends on who you are and what you're trying to do when you are talking to camera. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you can also try and do this and practice. Set up your camera. You can even do it after this video. Talk from a place that feels connected to maybe your chest or your stomach or some kind of emotion, and just get talking. And also have in mind who you're talking to, and that should bring out the authentic side of yourself. If you do want to learn more, then I've put together a one-page PDF, which is, I call it a cheat sheet because it has a bunch of rules on it, talking to camera, general guidelines and rules, from real kind of fundamental mindsets down to delivery points and tactics, all on one page that ideally you'd print out and have next to you when you're practicing talking to camera, so you can just refer to it. And that's completely free. That is in the link in the description, so feel free to download that. In the meantime, keep talking to camera, keep filming, keep doing your thing, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.